All right, good evening. Happy Thursday night, back in the day, fans. We are back
In the
for
day.
another round. How are we doing tonight, Mike?
I'm good. I'm good. Recuperating.
Yeah,
Recuperating
yeah.
from the trip.
Recuperating from that long weekend trip. Looks like it was a fun and productive trip, though, Mike.
Had a good time. Had a good time. Met a lot of people and uh, got some T-shirts out there and handed out a bunch of flyers. And you saw our member requests jump back up again on the Jaws 50 page. So hopefully they did
Yeah,
their
yeah.
trick.
I've seen quite a few. And we got Jeannie with us. Is she down there?
It looks like we got like a
She froze on me. Is that Chewbacca? Who is that? I just seen a bunch of hair there. I'm not sure what's going on.
it's Chewbacca.
Oh, she's back.
I am on
Back
a
from the
Lexington hangover.
It's a fun hangover though.
It
It
was a
is,
fun
right?
hangover.
Hair of the
Yeah.
dog. So you need this show to get you out of the funk.
That's right.
See?
I guess because man, I tell you what, that was probably one of the best con shows I've ever been to. The
Think
best.
of you move over here in the middle.
Yeah.
Think of this show as the Waffle House. And
The
you
Waffle
come
House
here,
is nothing but a redneck hibachi, okay?
but
And
it
I'm Southern,
feels,
I can say
but
that.
when you're hungover, it's really nice. So,
Speaking of Chewbacca, all right, let me get the JJC glasses on, okay? So, but yeah, we did have a great time. Man, it was awesome. And Nate, we really did miss you. I think that you would have had a great and awesome time with us.
Yeah, you know what? I kept getting on the sites. I mean, there was like three or four sites, and there was a handful of individuals that kept posting stuff and posting stuff. Like, I've got to get down to one. I mean, I've taken my son to some local cons, like little stuff around here. I've never really been to a big one like that. So it would be, yeah, I think it would be a lot of fun. It just honestly, I wouldn't care what what the substance was. I think just showing up and hanging out with you guys, I think would be a blast. I mean, could be completely out of my realm, but
It was so much fun.
weekend of July 14th next year, SharkCon.
I've already talked to Jen. We marked it down. So when you're getting ready and stuff, kind of let me know as far as like I don't know how far in advance you worry about getting rooms and stuff because we're pretty much blocking that out. I want to make it down to that.
Yeah. And Spencer, who runs SharkCon, I don't know if you saw the pictures of us standing in that big shark.
Yeah, did he make that?
No, but he is interested in having it come to SharkCon. So
Oh, really? Oh, nice. Yeah, that would be cool. That thing was a monstrosity.
If
a
um
lot of work.
if he if
We're
I
good.
have that guy's information, Mike.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you did either, but I've got it.
I thought it was something that someone made like for the con. I didn't realize it was an individual who made that.
Yeah. And he takes it with him, and it's mobile. You can move it around, and uh,
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some cool pictures. I saw Mike. I saw a picture of you there. I saw a picture
Yeah.
of all of you guys there, and I saw a picture. I mean, of everyone from any of the Jaws films that was there with it. I mean, yeah, yeah, it looked like a good time and definitely a nice little background for some great shots. Yeah, very cool stuff.
From my understanding, the person who made it was a 3-year process from being on a napkin. Because I had asked him, how did you start this? He goes, well, I just drew it up on a napkin, came in my brain. And hey, listen, a lot of people start that way. They start on a piece of paper or whatever, and the concept came up.
Oh yeah,
And it's
songs
basically
are
made
written
out
on
of
cotton
yoga
film
mats
napkins.
and right. It's made out of yoga mats and pool noodles
pool noodles. Yeah.
and some
No kidding.
yeah,
I thought
no
it was like
kidding.
PVC, and then like I don't know if it was like
No,
fiberglass,
that's
a mold
that's
for the
why it was.
mouth, or
Yeah, well, I asked him if it was fiberglass, and he says no. And I tapped on it; it was very light, very movable, and they did. That's why they used it for the Jaws pictures with the Jaws crew. So,
wow,
yoga mats and pool noodles, people.
very impressive. Well, I don't want to give too much away because it sounds like we might be talking about that next week. But was there anything maybe outside of Jaws that really stood out at the show? Anything you like really
Michael,
wowed you?
just
Michael?
the amount of people there, and it was very well organized.
Yeah.
There were some other people there that they said that we were at SteelCon in Pittsburgh. I don't know if
Mhm.
you've ever gone to that, but try to adjust this so I'm more centered. And they showed a picture they had taken. Like, this is the hallway at SteelCon, and you couldn't see. All you could see were heads. You couldn't see the people on the side. There's nowhere to move. It was very, very claustrophobic if you were there. But
Mhm.
this was well run, and everything was, you weren't bumping into people. Yeah, it was a fun time and decent guests. A nice variety of. You had your Jaws people, you had your Halloween people, you had your Friday the 13th people.
There was a big variety of um, like the bigger cast members from a lot of the movies that I saw there. Yeah, it looked like a really good showing as far as that goes, and it looks like the turnout
Mhm.
was quite big as well. Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Well,
And I was telling
that,
Michael it was more personable.
like easier to talk to people, or
Yeah, everybody was very accessible. You could walk up and
Yeah.
just talk to them, and you'd have to wait in line or pay $5, or you could just walk up to their table if they weren't doing anything, and you could say hi.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Didn't have to feel like there was like an
Yeah.
invisible
I had
barrier.
I went right. There wasn't anybody that says, no, you can't talk to them. You got to pay. You just walked up to the tables.
Oh
And I
wow.
went early Sunday morning to get some photo shots, and kind of beat the crowd. And I literally walked up to Jack Osborne. Now, this is Ozzy Osbourne's son because he
Oh
was
yeah.
there. And I literally had a great conversation with him, maybe about 5 minutes. Hey, how are you doing? He goes, good. How are you? Good morning. Thanks for being here. And it was that personable to where you didn't feel like you were threatened by like bodyguards or anything. You were just there to have a good time, and so were they.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what made it fun for me.
I don't know if Richard drew the largest crowd, but his line was nonstop in answer to this question. I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. It
Victor.
says did Richard Dreyfuss get the largest crowd?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would assume his line would be nonstop.
it
Sure.
was
Yeah,
just
okay.
his line was nonstop. Um,
I'm not sure who that. We got another question. Was anyone from Halloween 1978 cast there? Is their 45th anniversary?
Nick Castle, The Shape, he was
Oh,
there.
Yeah. Nick
nice,
was there. Hmm.
And yesterday
nice.
was the 45th anniversary of Halloween,
Yep.
Yeah.
which opened in a single theater here on Main Street in Kansas City.
Really?
And we used to do our podcast from the mezzanine of that theater. So yeah,
That's pretty awesome. Really? See, and you would do the Media Mike's podcast from there?
yeah, behind the mics, yeah.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Wow. Single theater open. Ah, a little credibility there. Awesome. Very
Yeah,
cool. We
so I
got
know
a
Nick
couple.
Castle was there. I think PJ Souls had been there the year before. That's probably why she wasn't there this year.
Sure. Yeah.
But
All right. Very cool. I got a couple more comments here. Looks like James must have joined us. Someone's saying hi to James. I'm guessing one of those comments was James here. I'm trying to pull it up. And getting a hello to Victor and everyone. So
James
it's good to see you
James
guys.
Scott's
see who
here.
popped on. Victor
Yep.
is here. James Scott is here.
Here we go. Was he still in shape? He's getting older.
Yeah, there was a
Was he still in shape? He's getting old. Is that
no, he
Richard?
was
Richard looked good. He's slowing down. He will be 76 on Sunday. And
happy birthday.
he doesn't take a break. So he literally signs from 11 o'clock to 5. He takes a
Okay.
break to go do the photo op, then he comes back and he's signing. I know there was some issues that people had noted, that his signature, his autograph was kind of all over the place towards the end of the day, and it was. But I've signed 250 books in 2 hours. I know your first signature, your last signature is never as good as your first. But
I was going to say, where's your signature going to be at the end of the day? It's going to look like garbage. You know what I mean?
Nate, you have muted yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can hear you.
am I back?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Jane, can you hear Nate?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
But I can't. Jane, say something.
Hello, Michael.
Well, that's weird. I can't.
Can't hear me at all,
I
Mike?
didn't touch anything. Let's see if
Mike,
something got muted.
Mike has broke the show.
Good morning, Dave.
All right, can you hear me now, Mike, or no?
Huh.
Tell you what.
Hey, Michael, why don't you go back out and go back in again?
I was going to say, if he can hear everything, I'll go back out and come back in, okay?
I saw the Holy Mike's fax.
Can you hear me now, Mike?
I can.
Must be something going on online.
Let me go out and come back. I'll be right back.
Go for it, Mike. I don't know. I look better in the middle, maybe. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I feel like a Brady Bunch moment.
We should all be looking like in the corners of each other.
It's like I look like Alice. What's going on, Mr. Brady? Well, it's a good time. There you go. It's a good time to go ahead and put the disclaimer up. Make sure we abide by what we need to.
We'll get Mike back in here. All right, Mike, how are you? I don't know what's going on. You can't hear me.
Michael, can you hear me?
I don't think he can hear either of us. He doesn't have any headphones on or earbuds in. Sorry, guys, we're having some technical difficulties here. Someone's saying there's nothing wrong with anyone's voice. Everyone at home can hear us.
Oh, just
and
wait.
saying
I might.
Facebook is having issues.
Oh, okay. It was glitching earlier.
I thought it was like you froze up once or twice. I didn't know if it was like my internet connection or your internet connection. Something's going on.
I probably look like a Picasso when it froze up.
Always good. I don't know. Let me I don't know. I'll message Mike here. And I don't think he can hear either of us.
Yeah, message him. So I will say go, if you want to go ahead and work on that. Does anybody else have any questions about Scarefest?
Wait a second. Hold on. No.
Mike, can you hear us?
I can't. Wait a second. Hold on.
I
can hear you. I'm watching it on my phone.
Okay.
I can't hear you through my computer, but I can hear you over the phone.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Or I'm listening on my phone.
Okay.
Weird.
We'll do it that way.
We'll just have a delay. No big deal. That was me sending a message over to Mike. So I can private chat. I think I can actually private chat, Mike.
Is the mute button on by any chance?
No, so I look. So I can actually see the mute button here. So if I mute him, now he's muted. No, he's unmuted. No, so I look. So I can actually see the mute button here. So if I mute him, now he's muted. No, he's unmuted. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sorry at home, folks. We're just give us a second here and see if we can.
Oh, do that again.
Okay. All right, now you're muted, Mike. I'm going to unmute you.
Because I heard you say first he's muted, now he's muted on my computer. Then he came over the phone.
Any better? Edit name. I'm not sure what's going on here.
No, I'll just listen through the
Okay.
phone.
Okay.
Might be a
Sorry,
little
Mike.
delay.
I'm not sure what's going
Might be a
on, bud.
delay if I'll just listen through the phone. Yeah, there's kind of a delay, so.
Not sure what's going on, bud.
I'll just listen through the phone. Yeah, there's kind of a delay, so. Yeah. So if I take a second to answer, I'm not having a stroke.
Not a problem, Mike, at
Well,
all.
Yeah.
the good thing is that there's people out here that says that they can hear all three of us, so we're good.
Not a problem, Mike, at all.
The good thing
All right,
is
well,
that there's people out here that says that they can hear all three of us, so we're good.
why don't we get started here? We'll try and get some things rolling out here, and see what we can salvage and keep going here. Get started here. See what we can salvage and keep going here. Get started here.
Oh.
All right.
That's going to echo the whole time.
Yeah, it is.
Let me.
Do you have any headphones or anything?
That's going to be
Mike?
an annoying echo for everybody else. Let me get out and try to come back. I'm sorry. Go ahead and.
That's okay. We'll go ahead.
Resume
We'll
your
go ahead
fun.
and start. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So anyway,
you know,
yeah, we'll go
I'm
ahead
here
and
to
jump
represent Harley Quinn.
in.
There it is.
I do have my Batman. Shirt
Oh
on.
my gosh! I gotta go and get Mr. J.
I love this shirt. I ran 3 races in this shirt. I wanted a Batman shirt just to like do races in, and couldn't find one. And finally, my wife found one for me. I don't know, it was like 2-3 years ago, and so I go out and do, I don't know, whatever it was. They ran a marathon in it. I did an adventure race in it last year, and so I wear it very proudly, even though I don't look like Batman. I pretend that I am when I'm trying to compete.
Anybody can be a superhero, Nate. Okay, so there.
This is true, right? You're a legend in your own mind, per Clint Eastwood, right?
If that's the case with me, oh my God, I'm a goddess. Okay, I'm looking at the background. That is where's my baseball bat? Wouldn't you like to know? Okay, the background's pretty cool. That graphic is cool because when you look at it, it's of different comics, pictures of the comics. Is that right?
So it's a collage of all different comic book covers and pages from Batman from over the years, from his start all the way up through. I mean, if you look closer, you can make out all the different logos. You know, it's.
I like that. I like
the
that.
Good thing. Yeah. I was hoping to catch the live, but my connection
sucks.
Not sure
I don't know who that is, but
we're having trouble on our end as well, so don't worry about it. Where Mike's having some microphone issues, so we're hoping we can resolve that. If not, we're going to salvage what we can and get through the show and see what happens. So definitely have some sympathy here going for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. But I tell you what, that was Matt Drenenberg. Matt, we're going to get in there, buddy. And Matt also says, Justice League Fantasy Football, I am Batman.
Nice.
I want to know,
cool.
does Matt say I'm Batman like Keaton, or how does he do it? Okay. Or does he do it West? You know, what do you do, man? Tell me, brother.
That's pretty cool. Hey, you know what? My kids at school know 2 things about me majorly. They know that I love Batman and I love Jaws, because when you walk in my classroom, I've got both of them in there.
And yet, somehow, before Jaws was ever filmed, there was an episode or a movie with Batman fighting a shark. Yeah. So, dude, you got the best of both worlds.
That's exactly right.
You did. And there was somebody at Scarefest that was dressed up like Bane, and I thought that was pretty cool. And he was a muscular guy, and I wish I had taken a picture. So
I was going to say, you've got. If you're going to do somebody like Bane or Conan the Barbarian, like honestly, physically, you better be able to pull that off in my book. Correct. You know what I mean? At least somewhat look the part. You know, don't walk in there and not and try and. I'm just thinking, you know, if you're going to pick a character like that, okay, then you gotta be able to kind of support it to some extent. I would think.
It was pretty cool, and there was a lot of Batman things there. You know, obviously, because a lot of these conventions have comic books. There was loads of them, you know, that you can choose from. But So I want you to kind of tell me, how did you get involved with the whole Batman
Batman.
genre for you?
I mean, honestly, I got involved the way the majority of the people from our era got involved. The Gen Xers, let's face it, we all got involved with Adam West. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you agree with me on that? You got to agree with me on that, right? I
Well,
mean,
Adam West is he brought it to life. He's the one that brought it to life. He was the very first one, So, it was just such a it, I don't know. It's the first time I think that a comic book character, superhero, came to life in TV for 30 minutes and you were glued to the TV. You wanted to see what was going to happen. You know, the red phone rings and there he is, him and Burt Ward running and the Batmobile. I mean, it was such great casting. You had Cesar Romero, you had Lee Merriweather, or what was the other ones that played Catwoman? Catwoman was my favorite. I always
yeah,
loved
it was
Catwoman,
good.
but I
I
love
mean,
the Eartha Kitt Catwoman. So
oh yeah, actually, all the cat ones are really good, but I have to admit with you on Eartha Kitt, yeah,
yeah,
she was quite good.
I
Let me
agree.
get you up there. I have a nice little Batman collection, some cool pins, beer glasses. I don't have a Batman beer glass.
That's
Damn, I
right up
should.
your alley there, Nate.
I know. I've got a beer glass for everything else. Oh man, I got Star Wars, Jaws. I don't have a Batman beer glass. And a ton of trading cards and magazines. Hot Wheels for Batman, little computer buddy. That's pretty awesome. I do have some Batman stuff
Nice.
sitting around. Yeah, I got some other. What I've got here. Adam West reruns during the summer every day. So I got a really
Oh,
cool little connection with these guys. So obviously, I was a huge fan. Now I started watching them when they were in syndication. They would be on
yes.
every night. I don't know, 5 o'clock or whatever, and just
Right.
loved it as a kid. And that's when the Megalo action figures were still out and stuff like that. Had the Batmobile bunch of action figures. And fast forward a bunch of years, and my son, who was maybe 3, suddenly got into Batman. And he got into Batman kind of strangely because his favorite thing in the world was the Elmo movie, Elmo and Grouchland. And when you have little kids, they got locked into something and they put blinders on and they can't deviate from that. So every time we're like, "Hey, you want to watch something?" It had to be Elmo and Grouchland. I would have strangled Elmo if I would have ever met the guy in person. I was so completely done with Elmo. Like not that I would wish harm on anyone. I was done with Elmo, and so
That was me with Barney.
yeah,
Barney.
same domain right there.
Yeah.
And so I grabbed a copy. I had the cheap, whatever, $5 like Walmart thin copy of the Batman movie that was to debut and release Batman over in England.
Right.
And I played it for him, and he went bonkers over it. And it was like a come to Jesus moment for me. I was like, yes, there is a God. And that's what started the Batman craze with my son. And it was, what was really cool was our neighbors who were huge movie aficionados. They had their downstairs converted into a theater, whole professional sound system, all that stuff. I was trying to track down the original 3 seasons, figuring it had to be on DVD somewhere for like $20.
Yeah.
Did not realize that apparently, it's been had like 20 years that these had never been released on DVD or on VHS because lawyers had been fighting over like tenths of a percent or something like that for eons, and it was holding it up and holding it up. And these guys, because they were such movie nuts, they would buy stuff black market. They would buy like pirated copies. They found someone on the West Coast that did like professional pirating of the original Batman series and the Green Hornet series, and gave my son a copy for Christmas one year. And yeah, really
Wow.
cool stuff. Yeah. And so we got a
Wow.
lot of mileage out of that stuff, man. I want to tell you what.
Oh man. That is
Yeah.
cool. I don't know about Batgirl. I never could get into the whole Batgirl thing. I don't know why.
Yeah, it was kind of take or leave. It depends. There was so many Batgirls, just like a lot of
Yeah.
these characters, like Batman, like Robin. There were so many of them through time, and so you had different ones from different generations and through
Yeah.
different comic book series that they each kind of took on their own thing. It says, why is Robin a half-assed girl? Well, the funny thing about that is one of the Robins was a girl, believe it or not. There was, oh yeah, so you had many different ones, and one happened to be a girl. If you read the Return of the Dark Knight comics, you would know that that particular Robin was a female. Yeah.
Oh, cool! Wow.
Many different ones. Yeah, many
Wow.
different ones over time.
Why is Rabbit half? That's cool. Yeah, before I left work today, and the people were asking me, okay, so what are you guys going to talk about? I said, well, it's Batman night, and everybody went bonkers. Like,
Oh yeah.
no, I like this one, but no, this one's better. I was like, good Lord, okay, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's just a conversation. Calm down. But I will have to say, George Clooney was not brought up in any of them.
There's a reason for that. There is a reason for that. Although, not to drop spoilers, if you saw The Flash, he shows up at the end.
Yeah, I have yet to see that, because just the fact that Keaton's in it was my ticket.
If you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. It is. I know it took a beating. I'm sorry. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Who's texting me? Oh, nobody. But so the series just really, I think it was great when it first came out, and then, like you said, us Gen Xers, watched it in syndication. The colors were so vibrant at the time too, because they really stayed true to what they were in comics and what could be brought onto the screen. I mean, look at the Penguin there. Look at Burgess Meredith. I mean, that's just amazing. Well,
and the little things they did, like when you were looking at the villains talk, they took the screen and tilted it because they had a twisted perspective on life, and so that was the idea behind that. They wanted you to see things through their eyes.
Exactly.
It was such a campy thing, but you know what? When I was a little kid, it was not campy.
No, because we didn't have anything to really compare it to.
Yeah.
Think about that. And then they also, don't forget with the comic books, you had the pow, zap. They always put that in there in the TV show. And there is kind of, if I'm not mistaken, and I hope he does not, I don't know if he'll send me a message or not, but there is a Jaws connection to Batman.
Really? You're outside of my realm already, but that's not hard to do. So. Don't take it. Don't get a big head right away, JD. I'm not a hard guy to outsmart. No, I'm just kidding.
Shush.
Go ahead.
You're great. You're an educator. Believe me, you have my utmost respect.
Because look, it's not just Jamie's facts, it's holy Jamie's facts tonight.
Holy Batman. Stephen Pisani, whose uncle is Murray Hamilton.
Okay.
He's the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow done, I think it's his mom's brother. Anyway, Stephen's dad used to be an extra for one of the bad guys in the Batman series.
No kidding. That's pretty impressive.
And Stephen is because he's a Facebook friend of mine. We've talked and everything, and I haven't talked to him here lately. But he's always proud of that fact of his dad. And his dad's got like the mask on and the hat, the caper hat, and the prison striped shirt. He's one of the bad guys. He's one of a henchman. So yeah, so cool. there's your 6 degrees of Jaws right there.
Very nice.
So Mike, thanks to Stephen Pisani for that. So
very nice. Mike, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yay!
You don't know what happened. It just popped on.
That's good old Zuckerberg doing his devilish work here once again.
He didn't like my Harley Quinn shirt.
Apparently he didn't like something about me or Mike, apparently. So I don't know. Oh. Mike, we were talking about our introduction, and of course, we all came to the agreement that it was, obviously the '60s Batman.
TV series.
3
different people played Catwoman.
Yep.
Here we go. Look at that.
Right.
Guys,
Julie Newmar, Eartha Kitt, and Lee Merriweather.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. The
That's who's
Batmobile
pictured.
ride.
That's who's pictured there with Frank Gorshin as Lee Merriweather and Burgess Meredith and Cesar Romero.
Yeah, it's all and all incredible individuals in their own right before getting on Batman. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
comment here about the Batman rock. If we have time tonight, I don't know if we will. We really got kind of a late start trying to figure things out. I found a video of a gentleman. There's a bunch of Batmobile replicas out there that people actually build now, and it has its own community. A gentleman built in Ohio the original, or not, I shouldn't say the original, the '60s Batmobile, but it is completely functional down to the buttons and the switches actually do things. It's got the solid blade coming out the front. It has the tubes in the back that shot like the missiles, like shoot like streams of air. This thing shoots flame 30 feet out the back. If we don't get a chance, it's like a 9-minute video. I will post the video when we're done. You've got to watch it. I mean, it is a complete labor of love. I mean, just unbelievable what this guy did with this thing to make it, to give it like functionality. I mean, really, can't imagine the time he spent on it. So,
wow. Just to take a ride in that would be cool.
Oh, that would be amazing. My son and I saw one of the Batmobiles, and I can't remember where we were. Philadelphia. I don't know. Maybe it was outside of Reading, like Potsdam or King of Prussia. We saw one of the Batmobiles or one of the copies or whatever, and oh my gosh! I mean, when you see that in person, you're making a connection to something you've seen 5 million times, and when you see it in person, it just strikes you and it hits you. Yeah. So you guys tell me some topics that you want to cover. You guys at home, what do you want to cover? I got a bunch of information we can cover. We can talk about early stuff. We can talk about cartoons. We can talk about the influences for the show, for the movies. What are you game for? What do you guys want to hit on here?
Bueller.
You want to start at the beginning? We can do that. It's up to you guys.
The artwork that you found on here is pretty awesome. I'm pretty impressed with that.
That guy right there, yeah. There's a lot of that stuff out there.
I love that.
I mean, you're talking about comic book series. It's been around for pretty close to 100 years. So the amount of materials that you have out there to work with is quite impressive. Yeah. We got the Batmobile was never at our Toronto International Auto Show in Toronto. That's a shame. I'll tell you what. You see that thing in person. I mean, I'm a car guy, grew up going to car shows, and rule number 1, you don't touch the car.
Yeah.
Rule number 2, if you go up and bend over to look at the car, you make sure you don't have a jacket hanging off or a necklace or a belt, nothing. You know what I mean? You kind of keep that little barrier between you and the vehicle. And it's hard to not go up and you almost want to hop right in the cockpit, and grab the handle and pull it back. And yeah.
Atomic batteries.
Yeah. All right.
On our website.
How about a little history? Guys, is it for a little history on Batman?
Certainly.
I'm sure we got between the three of us collectively, we got some background on here. So obviously, he debuted in the 30s through Bob Kane, and however, it was William Finger, I believe, was probably had as much, if not more, to do with Batman and some of the villains and Boy Wonder and the Batmobile than Bob Kane. Not that I want to soil Bob Kane's name, but he was known at times for, and I guess it was a standard for taking the liberty of taking credit for people who worked underneath you. He happened to be one of those things. And Fingers really drew a lot of inspiration from things that were current at the time, like the Shadow, Zorro, even like Dick Tracy, Sherlock Holmes, a lot of cool stuff there. And I think you see a lot of parallels with some of that, especially some of the early stuff. The one thing I thought was really cool was the actual, not the first, but the second actual Batman. The first Batman didn't look anything like what we're seeing in the bottom right-hand corner, right next to Janie there, were the first Batman sketches where he actually looked like a bat with the cowl and everything. Those were kind of borrowed with inspiration from Michelangelo. you know, he had all these crazy devices and things, and he drew
from
something
his
with bat wings.
yeah,
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, and that really kind of pushed him along.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So really
the
cool
flight
stuff. And
suit.
yes,
Dick Tracy there.
yeah.
That cracks me up.
You know, I was, you know, every time we pick a topic, I get on, and even when I'm sitting doing work in the background, I just pull YouTube up with the TV, and I'll just pop in whatever Batman documentary. And I watched a documentary on the making of the Dick Tracy movie.
Oh
You guys
no.
remember that?
Hmm.
Yeah, and that was like a big budget movie and didn't do too well. Kind of flopped. You know, had some serious actors,
Where
had
is
Madonna in it
my
as well, and yeah. So yeah, it's kind of neat what you stumble across when you go down those rabbit holes. We
I
got a
love
question here.
the Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty?
Did you really?
There we go.
Yeah, Warren Beatty. Yeah,
And
I
there we
say
go.
I didn't like it, but unfortunately, you know,
Warren
like a lot of
Beatty.
these, even now they kind of fall flat on their face, which is a shame.
Yeah.
Batman was
Warren Beatty, Warren Beatty, Madonna, Al
Madonna,
Pacino,
Al Pacino, Glenn Headley, William
Chino,
Forsythe,
yeah,
James
Glenn Headley.
Caan,
Yeah. Yep.
Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, had a hell of a cast. course,
Oh,
most of them-
Dustin Hoffman as Mumbles. Yeah.
Yeah, most of them were
Yeah.
under makeup, but yeah. Hell,
Well,
Pacino got nominated for it, so
oh, did he really?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
All right, all right. Wait a
I keep
second. We
getting
got
emails and it's bothering me.
we got a holy Mike's back up here too.
no.
Had to change tweak a little bit of Robin in there. So yeah, definitely cool. All right, well, moving on. So some of the first Batman. Someone asked a question about is Batman DC? Batman is definitely DC. In fact, Detective Comics. That's what he is. He's a detective
Yes.
first and foremost. And obviously, I've got like the first one there, and some of the first drawings. And the top left one over by Mike, that was Bob Kane's drawing of Batman before fingers kind of stood in, and introduced the cowl and kind of that more darker kind of look. And he really kind of borrowed a lot of things from like Flash and some other current people who were in the comic books, and that's where he came up with that. Just blonde hair, a little bit of mask, red, with some bat wings. So went through some early changes rather quickly.
Just seeing this, the concept art is kind of cool.
It really is. And, you can, even during the golden age, the first 20 years, the changes that he went through and the trials and tribulations with the writers and how, what things changed and how it really influenced what was being put out there. Really impressive. Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Well, he was also Superman.
Go ahead, Mike.
He was very not violent, but he'd kill people. He'd throw them off roofs. He was more of a vigilante back then.
It's
Yeah.
very much so. In fact, they did a lot to try and change his image to make him. In fact, did Batman Comics arrive? Superman came first, I believe, like by a year or two. But like what Mike said, they actually tried to parallel Batman with Superman to clean up his image a bit. When Batman started, he carried guns.
No.
He shot. Now, I don't remember that he shot people. I know he shot I want to say he shot like zombies or stuff like that. He like some of the early villains, he didn't throw them off a rooftop, but they fell. And he didn't do anything to help them. He was a very dark, sinister person, and he would hurt people. Yeah. Very much so. Yeah. I enjoyed Batman more than Superman. Yeah, they really kind of, Superman was the big one. And when Batman was starting to take a nosedive, they really tried to get him more wholesome, more the American kind of guy, like Superman. That's when he instituted no guns, no killing. That's when a lot of that came about. As much as I prefer Batman over Superman as well, whether that's my age or whatever. But yeah, they really did try to make a lot of changes to keep him relevant. Did he shoot Liberty?
No, he shot Liberty Valance instead.
Him or John Wayne. Yes.
All right. let's slide through what we got. Let's get into
There you
so
go.
some of the classics. Did you guys read comic books at all
I did.
growing up? Did you?
I did not.
I definitely did my share. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely did my share, and I tried to throw up some of the bigger classics, some of the iconic ones, and some of these I've read, some of these have turned into full length animated movies over the years. They've made some changes, but things like Nightfall for me, like Frank Miller. I mean, that was I was still a kid, and that was just oh my gosh, did that take Batman and just kind of push him back into that dark realm, brought him out of retirement.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the Killing Joke, Society of Owls. I mean, so Death in the Family. So many good ones out there. And I found myself when my son got into Batman, going out and you can buy them. They bind them into books where you can get an entire series in a bound book. And I would go out and pick them up and pick and kind of read through them because as a kid, to be honest with you, I loved sitting and reading comics. Obviously, because comic books were exciting and fun. One, number two, I was a horrible reader, horrible with comprehension. So something like that had everything going on with the pictures, I could really pick up and
Oh
and
yeah.
really dive into what was going on there. And so that was always a big draw to me. Yeah. Mike, what were your favorite
I can
comics,
see
bud?
that.
Batman and Superman. Read the occasional Flash.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped. It's funny because a lot of my friends, I mean, they still read comics, the ones that are really, really into it. I stopped about 13 or 14. But I mean, yeah, Superman, Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen. I remember that series. They all had Lois Lane had their own comics.
She did. Yeah.
Justice League.
Oh yeah, Justice.
Yeah, because coupled with that, you had the Saturday morning cartoon.
Yes.
So, it was you had your weekly. Every week you had a fix of superheroes.
Yeah. Saturday morning, ABC, Justice League, the Justice
Oh
Friends,
man,
or
Hanna-Barbera. I think the original was like the Aquaman Superman hour, and then it went into the Justice League in the early '70s. Yeah, I was in love with that stuff.
Teen Titans. I used to watch Teen Titans, Robin and Kid Flash and Aqualad and somebody else. I don't know, Baby Hawk or something. I don't know. I can't remember who he was. There were four of them.
Yeah. Who was the other one? It just changed over time too, because now there was a girl who was almost like the small huntress or something like that. So it has kind of evolved and changed over time. Yeah. Got some comments here. What do we got? One of the great things about Christopher Nolan's series was the Batman was again more of a vigilante. Love the truthfulness at the ending of Batman Begins when he lets the scumbag die. Yeah, you know what? I don't know. People become, at least that I've seen at times, very polarized as to who their Batman is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They all had incredible qualities for their era and what they did. People would call Adam West campy, and comical, and people would call, Michael Keaton was just like, kind of underplayed yet over the top. And then it seems like every time there's a new Batman, as soon as you hear who it is, everybody hates it. Michael Keaton's going to be horrible, and I mean, everyone, even the last rendition. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to wait and watch because I've been wrong before. And you find amazing qualities to what they're doing. And what I really like is every one of those Batmans is a different era and a different Batman. You know what I mean? From a different cartoon or a comic book series or a different era. And they do it well. I'm sorry. They really do. When they said Ben Affleck was playing Batman, in the back of my mind, I'm going, you've got to be kidding me. Is this where we're at now? That he's going to play Batman? I kept my mouth shut and I thought, you know what? Someone's got a good idea, and came out. And oh my gosh, when Batman versus Superman came out and the critics hated it, I'm sorry. That was a great film. And if you're a Miller fan, You
Yeah.
went and saw that, and you were going, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing!" You know, because
That
you knew
was
right
that
where it
was
was
the
coming from.
That's the one that had all of them in there, wasn't it? It had like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, so Gal Gadot was in it.
Wonder Woman was then
Jason.
Batman versus Superman, and then Justice League had all the rest of them. Flash,
Okay, this
League,
Justice League one I saw because they
Yeah.
had the Flash, Aquaman, all that was
Yeah.
in it, and Affleck came back, and I was very impressed with it because that was, and I'm not an Affleck fan anyway. I'm not.
I'm
So,
not either, but and you know what? I thought he
but
played a great
that was
older
good.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
And even
yeah,
so, here this comment's so true about the poo-poo on Keaton's selection on Batman. Yeah, I mean he was a comedian. People didn't want to see him as Batman. They thought he was going to be horrible.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
he went
and
from Mr. Mom to a superhero, basically.
yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing. And
Yeah.
here, I'll admit, it was wrong. You know, Pattinson's Batman was really good. Listen, I
Really?
didn't care. I didn't care for any of Pattinson's movies. I was not a fan of the Twilight series or any of those.
Yeah,
And they
that's
casted him as Batman. And again, I was like, you know what? What do I know? You know, they're obviously doing this for a reason. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you're a fan of some of the earlier stories of Batman, like the Court of Owls and Year One and stuff. I'm sorry, he did a great job. He really did.
I'm not a Pattison fan either, but I did like him in the Harry Potter when he played Cedric Diggory. Is that what it was? But anyway, yeah.
I
But
like
that was it.
Tenet.
Yeah, I just never have. I think he overacts, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
So
What about Pattinson and Batman 2022? Yeah, I thought he was
there
great.
you go.
I thought he really resembled some of the Nolan movies with a real hint of realism. You know what I mean? It definitely was less of a comic book character and more what if in real life. And it was the gloom and the darkness. Now, I don't think he was nearly as strong as Bruce Wayne, but early Bruce Wayne, who knows? He was kind of trying to find himself and really establish himself. I thought he was fabulous. I really did. Yeah, loved it. I watched that movie probably 2-3 times a year. I thought the Joker, I loved, or the take on, on the Riddler. I loved the take on him. I just thought it was done incredibly well. It was way out in left field, and it worked.
It's always good when they bring something around back again, but they throw a new wrinkle in, so you're not, because I think this was like the first film in forever that you didn't have the obligatory 15 minutes. Here's how Batman's parents died. Okay, we know. Came out, it's just like, we know what happened. So just start with Batman.
Exactly. Yeah. Pick a time period where you want to go and run with it, because it's been done so many times. How many times are we going to rehash that same thing? And even that being said, they tried to put different twists on that at times, and it was done well. But still, again, just like you said, so pick a different time period. So that's why, Ben Affleck picking up Batman older, coming out of retirement, with Dark Knight Batman. Amazing. And he fit it to the T, same here, picking up the early years of Batman. And then you get into, even with like the Nolan series, which goes to the backstory. That was the first time anyone did a backstory.
Yeah.
I mean, in a movie, no one did a backstory on film before, at least not, not live action,
Yeah. And even Keaton in The Flash, he was great. He was a great Batman.
Oh, amazing. I mean, and I'm sorry. People were saying it was a Keaton film. It was Flashpoint Paradox, if you know the story. That's what it was. But Keaton, when he came on, every time he came on, you were like, he was just amazing,
When he first shows up back in the costume, and he goes, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know we're dropping spoilers too, but he had to say, let's get nuts somewhere in that film. You knew that was coming.
If you haven't seen The Flash by now, it's on HBO and it's on Max. Go see it.
Go watch it. Don't listen to the naysayers. Sit back, get some popcorn, and enjoy the movie. It's a good movie.
And come up with your own opinion about it. You may like it, you may not, but at least try.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right.
Oh,
How
boy.
about some sidekicks? So there's been a lot of sidekicks and people involved with Batman. And
I
we
was
also kind
referred to
of,
Mike's sidekick this past weekend.
And my Robin.
I was going to say, so you must have been the Robin then. Because
I
so in
was
the
the Robin.
upper left-hand corner by Mike, that is the female Robin. And then, of course, you know me with names. I can't remember her name, but that was in the Dark Knight.
It's Janie.
Robin was a female. I could, you know, you came on the glasses tonight, threw me off. I'm sorry.
Just yeah.
I mean, there was, I don't know, and I'm not a Batman aficionado, but I would say at least 5 Robins.
Wow.
So you had Dick, you had Jason Todd. Can't remember the girl's name. I apologize. You had the one was actually the son of Wayne. He was the son of Wayne and Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
Oh yeah.
And I know yeah, Talia. That's right. Yeah.
Wow.
And I know I want to say there's at least one more modern one. And last couple of years it was getting a lot of flack because it was someone who was either I'm not sure if it was like someone who was like bisexual or something along those lines. That's been in the last couple of years, and so they're kind of putting that out there. So there's been a lot of different renditions of Robin. In fact, a lot of your Robins ended up becoming other people.
How do they explain all the different Robins? Do the other ones die or?
Some die and some evolve into others. So Nightwing was one of the Robins. So when he decided to fly the coop and become his own guy and not be under Batman's watch anymore and go to like a subsidiary city, that's where Nightwing comes from.
Oh, okay.
The Red Hood or Red Mask? That's Jason Todd. So Jason Todd was, if you know the comic book series Death in the Family, was tortured and killed by Joker. And the idea was that he was brought back to life in the Lazarus pit, which is what Ra's al Ghul would use to, be immortal. But when he brought him back, it kind of really scrambled his brains, almost like a Pet Cemetery kind of thing. He'd never come back quite right. And he became, I don't know if it's the Red Hood or the Red, it's been a long time, but at any rate, but he was a vigilante, uses guns, kills people. Yeah, very much. Yeah, the Red Hood, that's who it is, and Nightwing. Yeah. Should have their own standalone movies. I agree. I think they would make for some great films. And unfortunately, like with a lot of these movies that don't do well, I often think it's not because the movies aren't done well. I often think it's because the public doesn't quite know the characters all that well.
Don't know the whole backstory or the side stories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Trying to charge up my phone. Yeah, if they don't know those stories, they're not going to go and see it.
So it's not going to be popular.
Right? It's not. Unless you're a true diehard, Big Bang Theory guys that go to the comic book store and they know their stuff, so they're not going to see this. So you have to have a, that would be pretty cool. I mean, I'm quite sure it would be popular if they did that.
Yeah. Stephanie Brown was Robin. Okay, I am horrible on names, so that was
Stephanie Brown. Okay.
That's who the female Robin would be. Yeah, then you went through a time period. I'm not even sure. Let me pull it up.
I'm going to go back and see.
Let's see. That was Matt.
Oh.
Matt knows his Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. And he's even had a couple pets over time. He had 2 dogs. 2 dogs, and one had been around for quite some time. And now it's going to kill me. I'm trying to remember the original dog. It was something like Zip or real basic, simple name. And the original dog, he wore a mask. He was like a German Shepherd, just to kind of hide his identity. And he would go on little trips with Batman. And he had a later series. He had another dog. He had a Great Dane, who, other than kind of resembling a little bit of the cow, that's all he did. He never really dressed up or anything like that.
Did they stop with dogs with Batman? I remember Superman had like Crypto. He had like Streaky the horse. Mm-hmm. Then he had the Super Chimp. It was like, good Lord. Yeah.
Well, there was a time period there where everybody had sidekicks, and they kept loading them up. And it's probably really hard to see, but Mike, right next to you. So Robin debuted in like 1940. The Boy Wonder came out,
Boy
and
Wonder. Yeah.
yeah, shortly afterwards, the sidekicks. Then that was Dick Grayson, the original. Sidekicks really took off, and so you started to see sidekicks for everybody had a sidekick, and they even tried to introduce another sidekick for Batman and Robin, and it was literally Bat Boy, and it's exactly what it was. It was a Bat Boy. It was a kid in a batter's helmet and a baseball bat. So if you look at that picture, Mike, there
I
he
see
is.
it.
He's like,
Yeah, I see it.
Bat Boy. He's just beating the hell out of people with a baseball.
Beat that boy with a bat. Bat.
Yeah, so there was all kinds, and then there was the little guy in the middle. I can't remember his name, but he was kind of tied in with the whole Mixel-Flick, who was a sinister character to Superman, and there was Batmite. That's what his name was. There were so many. Yeah. Yes, that was Batmite.
Don't say Mixel-Flick backwards, or he'll disappear.
He'll disappear. That's right. We got to get him to say it backwards. Wasn't that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dracula never had a Robin.
Never had a Robin, so they gave him a dog. Yeah, it's true. And Dracula made his way into the comic book Batman.
Yeah.
Books too. Bought him a couple times. Oh yeah.
Oh my
Good.
goodness.
We got some knowledgeable Batman people on here.
Yeah, but my buddy Paul's on here talking about his. Yeah. Dang, brother, just when I think I know you.
And even Batgirls, there was 2 or 3 of them. Commissioner Gordon's daughter was one of the Batgirls, who was later paralyzed. Yeah, and I want to say the Ventress started out as a Batgirl, became Batgirl. She's in the bottom right there. Yeah, and different people wore the cowl as Batman. The original Batman died, and there's been other Batmans, and there's been stand-ins for him through the different generations. Was it Aztec or Isaiah, whatever? He was a comic book character himself. When Batman, I think it was the Nightfall back in the 80s, when Batman got his back broken by Bane. I'm sure you remember that one.
Yeah.
He was out of commission, and this other guy took up the cowl, and he stood in as Batman, and one of the Robins stood in as Batman for quite a while. Yeah, so it's really kind of evolved over time. Yeah, kind of neat. They give a different writer license, and they kind of put their own spin on things. So
cool.
I'm reading comments. I'm not being rude.
No, I keep trying to go back and forth to them, and I'm trying to go back and see who's commenting, but it tends to lag behind when I have a separate page open on Facebook. So
Matt is just full of knowledge.
Yeah, what we got here?
That's Matt right
Yvonne
there.
Craig.
Yeah,
I think we all love Yvonne Craig as Batgirl. I have to say, yeah, Batgirl and her little purple motorcycle. So.
Sure, when I do it, I get pulled over. She does it. It's great. Okay.
Wasn't Yvonne Craig also the green? I mean, use a 60s vernacular. The green chick that Kirk hooks up with in Star Trek. I think that was also.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Looked like she was wearing Hulk paint.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whole body. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like her whole body was green. She had like a little green swimsuit or something on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Another Mike's fact. Good stuff, Mike. I don't know how you keep tying everything back to Star Trek. I still don't know how you got cowboys out of Star Trek, but you were able to tie it in there. I was blown away by that.
Gene Roddenberry said he submitted it, and he said the easiest way to think about it is think of it as Wagon Train to the Stars. Yeah. The Wagon Train was just people going out and finding new lives,
adventures,
civilization. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, in Cowboy Connection here, that's what Adam West was doing before he got cast as Batman. He was trying to make his way as a cowboy in the cowboy films. In shows. Yeah.
Well, I remember in the mid 80s, 87, 88, when they announced they're doing a Batman movie, Adam West would show up on talk shows in costume to be cast, get the audience to go, I should be Batman. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Good stuff. So speaking of like cowboys and good stuff like that, they always talk about, Batman doesn't kill. Batman doesn't use guns. Batman does and has used guns many times over. Now, maybe not necessarily as far as killing goes, but we often think of the early days Batman. He definitely used guns, but there's been different renditions of him using guns from the 30s into like the 60s and the 70s and 80s and some of that post-apocalyptic things, and there's even like the Silver Age Batman and Robin. He's shooting I don't know, looks like an old Browning water gun, machine gun, right in the middle there. So
like fighting Nazis. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. The Nazis are the Japanese. I'm sure that's what he was doing. Yeah, yeah. And in the bottom left, he's fighting pirates with swords. Kind of like had to make sure he was equipped for who he was after. So yeah. Good stuff. What we got here? The Gotham Knights video games is great because you play Robin, Red Hood, Nightwing, and Batgirl in the game, carrying on from Arkham Knights. Very cool. It's one thing I don't really get into is the video games, but apparently the Batman video games carry their own lineage.
Yes, they do.
On up to
That I
today.
know.
And they actually do animated clips, and guys will piece them together into almost like small movies and put them online. Yeah. Good fact. Good fact. All right. So, how about villains? Who do you guys like? Who's your favorite villains? You had to pick one or two, or three or four. Because there's been hundreds of them. It's okay to pick an obvious.
I'm wearing mine. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love Harley. Harley, I do. I love Harley.
Joker for me.
Yeah, Mr. J.
And
you try and move us around.
All the all through the TV, Cesar Romero and then Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger and Jared Leto and Joaquin Phoenix. There's been the testament to that role is that every actor that's played the Joker has won an Oscar, and two of them for playing the Joker. So it's it's a great role that you can really get embrace. Burgess Meredith's Penguin.
Oh, he was great, wasn't he? Oh my God!
I don't know. Danny DeVito's Penguin was kind of intriguing.
Penguin.
Yeah, it was a different take, but man, it was good.
Yeah,
Then you had a TV show. You had Bookworm and Egghead and King Tut and they were just fun villains.
Yeah.
I think if I'm not mistaken, sorry. I was saying, if I'm not mistaken, when Danny DeVito was the Penguin, like he was really eating that raw fish for real.
Ew.
On the set, yes, to stay into character. And those who were around, I mean, there was like a lot of cast members found it very disgusting, but yet he was actually eating that salmon, like for real, and it was just discard it on set.
Is it like sushi? Maybe like
yeah.
The only thing more disgusting was when he bit off what's his name's nose. You remember that in that film?
Oh yeah. Was it? That was Christopher Walken, was it? No,
it was Walken. Yeah. You're right. I was trying to think of who the actor was. It was Christopher Walken, and he bit his nose off. That was
and then Michelle Pfeiffer gave him a real good buzz at the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With a taser.
Lit him up.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. And I also like, a lot of people didn't like this, but I loved, and it is corny because it's corny anyway, but Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face.
Oh, yeah, he put on this very, very comic bookish kind of, very. Yes. I think it really paid a lot of lineage back to some of the earlier stuff, especially like, what was it, Long Halloween. I mean, his makeup even looked like Two-Face from then, which was kind of like the big debut of Two-Face. Yeah.
Right. And I always liked it how whenever he looked at the end of it, he always said, "Thank you, Bruce. You've always been a very good friend." And that was the lawyer part of talking to him. And then all of a sudden he met his demise.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I always liked him as Two-Face.
Would have liked to have seen Billy D. Williams give it a shot at Two-Face.
That would have been, yeah, that would have
Because
been
he
a cool
was,
take.
That,
original Harvey
yes.
Dent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That would have been good.
Joaquin Phoenix was incredible as a Joker. That was good. I have to say. I haven't watched it. I hadn't watched it the second time, but I took my son to see it, and we did both enjoy that movie.
Yep.
Yeah, there was definitely large parts of that were borrowed from some of the series as well. Even though they said it was a complete standalone, had no tie-ins. And the second one, I mean, obviously, the second one was made, so it's definitely has some
Yeah,
traction.
it should be wrapping. I mean, it's wrapped up right now, so it's in post production, from my understanding. So
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Pfeiffer
Michelle
was
Pfeiffer was
terrific
a
back.
terrific background. We're seeing the store where she whips the head.
Yes, with the mannequins. I spoke about this before. Yes.
Was it
If you
you that said it was all done in one shot? Is that you?
It was done in one take. And
Yeah.
Tim Burton was on the side, and I mean, she literally took that whip and went, bam, and every mannequin's head went off like that. And she did it in one take, in that outfit, and in heels.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Pfeiffer is not anybody to screw with, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So, but with one take, that was very, very impressive.
Jim Carrey's the Riddler. I really like Jim Carrey and what he's
I
capable
just,
of doing. I wasn't that big of a fan of his, but I think that was less a reflection on him and more of what they were after with the movie. You know?
yeah.
So
And the fact that Drew Barrymore was in that movie with him.
yes, she was.
One of the little
Yeah.
assistants. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in there with him. Yeah.
How did the character of Two-Face get created? Two-Face got created. It was in The Long Halloween. Was really, I believe. I don't know if that was the first time Two-Face came about, but I think that was the first time where Two-Face's story kind of unraveled. The fact that he was a lawyer, worked for Gotham, and I don't remember what caused the original explosion that burned half of him. That caused the fire, but that's what brought him about. It kind of fragmented his mind. It developed that dual personality. But I know he was around prior to that, earlier years, but that was the first one that really kind of gave a little bit of a backstory. And The Long Halloween was pretty much blow for blow. It was taken right from, God, what movie was it? Gangster movie. Sorry, me and names again. Here we go. Biggest gangster movie of all time, and I'm not the hugest fan of it.
Godfather?
The Godfather was pretty much blow for blow. Was that story was more or less copied. A lot of it was not copied, but kind of borrowed. Yeah, elements of the Godfather. Yeah.
Of course, that would be my girl Kelly Devlin, talking about Michelle Pfeiffer. So the girls are out tonight. There you go.
Well, since we were kind of hitting a little bit on some of these
love
guys, some of the movie characters, does any of these stand out more than others for you guys, or certain things you like about others than not? What do you guys say? Say it's since since the 80s.
I mean, each one brings something. Like Michael Keaton was a perfect both.
Yeah.
He was a perfect Bruce Wayne and a perfect Batman.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
I love Val Kilmer, and he talks about it in a documentary about him where he said it's the only film I accepted. I never saw a script, but when you're a kid and you want to play Batman, you just say yes. Clooney, I thought Clooney was good. Clooney was just hamstrung by a wacky director and a terrible script and trying to give Arnold more lines. He didn't kill Batman. Joel Schumacher killed Batman. The Nolan films, Christian Bale, the way they just get progressively. Nate said had a backstory, and you got to see a little bit more of why he's who he is, and you kind of see him progress. And it's not like the movie starts and he's Batman. Here's how he became Batman, and now why he's Batman. Affleck was good. Robert Pattinson was good. They've all brought something to the role. They each have their own, but to me, Keaton's the definitive Batman. Not going
Agreed.
back to from the 80s on. I mean, Adam West will always be my childhood Batman, but movie Batman, it's Michael Keaton.
Yep, agreed.
He brought that darkness, that realism. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the first time. Yeah, I agree,
Yeah.
110%. And there's a large population that still holds that, to be canon. Yeah. What about you, Janie? Anything stand out or anything?
No, I mean, like literally, I can follow what Mike said. To be honest, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's gonna, except for my friend at work. She was just like, "Well, I liked Val Kilmer." I kind of gave her a dirty look today. I'm like, "No, that is no. You're fired as a friend. No, you got to pick Keaton. What's wrong with you?" So, but I agree with what he says.
Yeah, there was some merit to what he did with it.
Yeah.
And there were some things that were interesting with that, but yeah, he got a little left field.
I mean, he was, he was brought in. He was at the height of, he was on ER at the time, and he was, he started making movies, and it was at the good height of his career. And I love George Clooney. I mean, I met his father one time, in Cincinnati. His aunt Rosemary Clooney. You can't go wrong with the Clooney family, but to me, it just didn't seem like it fit him that well. As what I was wanting to see like what Michael would do, but it was campy, and I just didn't care for it.
Yeah. There's a question. This popped up twice now. Why is New York called Gotham City? The original Batman series of cartoon or comic books in the 30s, Batman resided and protected New York City. Gotham didn't come out until a couple years later. Yeah, that's why.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Chicago.
Interesting.
It could be because I know you don't want to. If you say it's New York and then you picture something in the comic book that resembles something, and they're going to sue you or something. But if it's Gotham City, if they go into a Wendy's in Gotham City, you can't say it was, the Wendy's on 42nd Street in New York that, people have issues with.
And New York was Spider-Man City too, wasn't it?
Yeah, New York was Spider-Man. Superman was technically New York, but they call it Metropolis.
Metropolis.
The Flash is like Center City, I think, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Some times there. Yeah, when they film these dark Batman films, they always go to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You ever been to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
I have not. I've driven by it, but I did see where it was at the time where the terrible towels started coming out, and it was when they filmed Bane, wasn't it? So they used Heinz Field.
Yeah. There were some action films that were filmed there. Good city. I went to college about 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh. I got a lot of friends who live in Pittsburgh. And the city itself was fine. It was like any other city, but the weather, that's why all these films would be shot there. It's so dark and gloomy. Like,
oh yeah, it's winter. Yeah,
October through maybe the beginning of May, and because you're getting lake effect from Lake Erie, and it's either. I mean, at times we used to joke that it was Seattle. It's either raining or it's snowing or it's sleeting. I mean, just constant clouds over there. I half wonder when the last Batman was shot. I'm like, it was either shot in England or Pittsburgh because all it did was rain through the whole damn movie. I don't think you saw the sun more than like 5 minutes in the film. I'm like, that was my college experience right there.
It's always location,
yeah.
Nate.
Yeah, so the Avengers are filmed in Cleveland, so.
Oh, really?
That kind of that part of the Rust Belt that just kind of has that look to it. Terrible Towels is for Steelers.
Terrible Towels, Steeler Nation.
Did you cry in yours?
Oh, speaking of towels, okay, never mind. When we get done, I have a surprise for Nate.
Oh, nice segue.
All right. I do say I have been to. Well, I guess it's not Heinz Field anymore. It's some French bank name, but I took my wife to friends of mine are from Pittsburgh. Grew up in Latrobe, right outside of Pittsburgh, and we went to see a game. And my wife was a Washington Redskins fan, and they were playing Pittsburgh, so we all went together. And the field itself is awesome. It really is. It's a great field. It's amazing. Underneath the stadium it's all the pillars and everything are encased, and it's all memorabilia from like the Super Bowls that they've won, jerseys and the players that they've had.
Oh,
They
cool.
have turf lined the entire underneath, so you're walking across old turf. It is really neat what they did with the stadium. Yeah.
Cool.
Is that where Heineken's from? Latrobe, Pennsylvania?
No, Rolling Rock is from
Rolling Rock.
Latrobe.
Okay. I know there's a beer. There's a beer in a
Yeah.
green bottle from there. Okay.
Yeah, Rolling Rock, Rot Gut. That's what we used to call Rolling Rock. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had two friends I went to school with who lived in Latrobe and worked in Rolling Rock, and they would blow half their paycheck in the summer, and they would buy a case of beer each week, and then whatever promotional stuff they had, their apartment, they had a false wall, and it was returnable cases of beer, and they would just buy their beer all summer long, and that was their stash for the school year. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
That employee discount.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It was there in 2001, 2015.
Recycling that paycheck.
Yeah, it's not the Heinz Stadium anymore. It's got some weird French.
Isn't it Three Rivers Stadium?
No, that's the old one. I've been to
That's the
Three
old
Rivers.
one.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
to Three
That's
Rivers.
the old one. Okay.
Yeah, although Heinz Field's been around for quite a while, but yeah, Three Rivers was the old one. It was the Heinz Field for a long time, but only in the last, I don't know, a couple of years that it changed its name. I'm sure somebody will, Vic's a fan, or someone will get on here and tell us what the name of the field is now.
Three Rivers was scary because we used to go because once October hits, Pittsburgh goes into Steelers mode and they forget the Pirates. Even
Oh, yeah.
even back when they were good in the early '90s. So we would decide like at 2:00 in Baltimore to say, hey, let's drive up to Pittsburgh for a playoff game. You get there, nobody at the box office, you got good seats, but the fans would they'd come up, they would kind of bounce up and down, and the whole stadium would move. It was frightening. Yeah, it was going to collapse. I guess it was built that way in case there's earthquakes or something. It was just so weird. Heinz was 2001, 220.
220. Yeah, and here it is. I knew somebody would come up with
Acrisure.
Acrisure? Okay. Boy, bet you they love saying that.
Yeah.
The Acrisure. As much as my wife loves saying the Commanders.
That's
Yeah.
Sorry. They're going to be the Redskins. They're always the Redskins to me. I'm sorry.
They are to her too, Mike. In fact, I tried to find her. She wanted a visor or something. She had to wear Redskins visor. You know, they wear out whatever tour.
Yeah.
She said, I want a Redskins visor. You know what? I tried and tried and tried, and I could not find a Redskins visor. They just don't make them anymore. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She still got some old jerseys and stuff. And
Good.
yeah. What are you going to do? All right. Well, I don't know if you guys, I'm just going to touch base on it for a second. So, the last 15 years, unfortunately, the DC movies have really taken a beat in the live action movies. Just the last couple, even though I thought they were done well, unfortunately, didn't do really good in the box offices or as well as they touted them to. Where Marvel has just become a powerhouse. But what, I don't want to say a lot of people, but definitely people don't know is they have had such a strong running with animated movies.
Yes.
I'm not talking for kids. I'm talking some like the big Batman series that were out have been redone. And they do make little changes, but some of the big ones, Dune, Hush, The Red Hood, Year One, The Killing Joke was done a couple of years ago, and they're done very, very well. Marvel's been trying to kind of get back into that game, and they've not fallen on their face, but they have not been able to kind of.
It's not the same caliber. It's not the
take
same
some of
caliber.
that back. Where
Yeah.
If you are an animated fan, you're a Batman fan, check them out because they are pretty good. They really are. Son of Batman. It's where, the Bruce Wayne's son becomes Robin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really some good stuff there. Yeah. Yeah. Flashpoint Paradox. It's somewhat of a basis for the new Flash film. And they're all based off of very, very famous comic book series that have been around for quite a while. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Good stuff.
There,
Speaking
I
of
was going to say,
cartoons,
because you're going to talk about going into the movies, the Batman movies from the cartoon series,
yes.
where, this is where Harley was invented. This is where she came into play, voiced by, great soap opera actress named Arlene Sorkin. And this is where it started, right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Batman has eked his way into many, many, many times over into every single decade. The early ones, at first, I want to say was it Batman Superman show, and then
Yeah.
it went into Super Friends, right? And then came back,
Super
and
Friends.
even Adam West was doing the voice, and then he wasn't. They had, and I can't remember the guy who did the voice for a long time on the Justice League, but you knew it right away, you knew that was Batman's voice. And I'm sure he voiced 20 other characters, but then they brought Adam West back in a couple of years later.
Casey Kasem, I'm going to look this up. Casey Kasem was the voice of
Robin.
Was he Robin?
Yeah.
He was Robin.
I want to say he was Robin.
I'm almost positive. Yeah, I would say for both the Justice League and for the Batman Robin show. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And then for when Fox brought it back in the afternoon, we saw it in the afternoons. It was Kevin Conroy, and sadly he's passed on now as well. So, yeah.
He did a lot of the Batman animated movies.
Animated series, correct.
Earlier.
Yeah.
And yes, incredibly strong following. And people just loved him, even though you never saw him. And he did make his way into one of the live action shows later, but yeah, his voice is just very iconic.
And the former SNL comedian, I can't think of his name. Was it Will Arnett? Isn't he the one that did the Lego Batman?
Lego Batman.
The Lego Batman.
Yeah.
And does it well too, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yeah. He does.
Yeah. Yeah, and there have been so many renditions, and like I said, every decade you get a real iconic one that really sticks with a certain group of kids. Like Batman: Brave and the Bold, which harks back to the 1950s. When my son was little, there was one called The Batman. It was early years, and it was completely different as far as the visual end of it, and the voices were completely these ones that I did not know. Joker, completely different take on him. And I was like, some young kids, show them to watch this. And I was sitting and watching with him. It was done really, really well. It was really good.
Because Fox right now, I'm just lazy anyway. But anyway, I've never seen the Lego movie, but I think it's funny that I know who the character is voiced by with Batman. And now he does a show. Have you seen this Lego show?
No.
Well, he's the host of it. He's the host of this show where there's certain teams and they have to do a certain task. And if you move on to be the Lego builders, I think is what it's called. And they use him as the host.
Nice. All right.
Marvel Comics Universe movies.
Movies owns all. Yeah, they really do. They've become a powerhouse, but I want to say in the last 5 years they've kind of been on the backhill slide. But of course, when you rise to that kind of stardom, I guess there is only one way to go. So yeah. And even the last couple of years, so I don't know, I say a couple of years, it's probably been a decade, but they've gone back and taken the Adam West in the 60s Batman and made those into animation films too.
Yeah.
There's quite a few of them out.
Yeah.
Which is good. Kind of locks it in.
I kind of thought I liked it when he kind of laughed at himself of being Batman on The Big Bang Theory, because that was such a big shtick in the whole script, just Sheldon gets like drunk or something off of some medication. He goes, I'm Batman, it's just hilarious. And for Adam West to come back on and just make fun of himself was I think it came full circle for him in his career.
You know what else he was genius on? Family Guy.
Family Guy.
Yes, is the bear.
You know what? Adam West on Family Guy was just amazing.
Hilarious.
He was amazing. Yeah. Yep.
I love him. I agree.
I absolutely loved him. I mean, he was such a wild card,
Yeah.
And
not who you would think would voice that. Yeah. No.
Oh. Yeah. Absolutely
Love it.
incredible.
I love it. Love it. Love it.
All right. I got one last question. I think we're going to wrap it up or I'll let a video roll. And that is,
Oh,
we got to talk about the cars just for a minute or two. Now, I mean, there's been many, the original Batmobile was not a Batmobile. It was like a red 1936 Cadillac. When he was Bruce Wayne, the top was down. When he was Batman, the top was up. Then the first Batmobiles evolved. It was like an old Ford, and had the cowl on the front and stuff like that, and a wing on the back.
I always thought the PT Cruiser always reminded me of the original comic book Batmobile. Just the way it's built with that, yeah.
Very much in that vein. Yeah, that era of cars. Yeah.
well, I had a PT Cruiser, so if that's the case, then I already had a Batmobile.
You had your
Then if that's the
Batmobile.
case, I did.
Well,
It was gold.
I would be crushed if that man pulled up in a PT Cruiser.
You don't know what that car can do.
Have you seen the new Toyota Prius? That has more Batman looking on the back of it than that does. Oh my God.
Shows up in a Prius and all the bells and whistles go on.
Yeah. Do you mind if I plug in here while I take care of this? Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know about you guys, but the Batmobile.
I want somebody to make a picture of the Batmobile as a Prius, and we're going to give it to Nate for Christmas.
The Prius V, yeah. You know what I thought of when that popped into my head when we were talking about that was, you guys are Office fans, right? You ever see the episode when Andy and Dwight are going to fight?
Yes.
Andy drives the Prius and he pins Dwight up against the bushes, and you can hear Oscar in the background going, you can't hear him coming because if he keeps it under 5 miles an hour, the Prius is completely silent. Batman trying to keep up on people in battery mode, Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
So, good stuff. Well,
oh my goodness.
What's your take on the Batmobiles? Anyone have a favorite?
I love the one that it's just because I like it so much and I love Keaton. I'm going to take the movie one. That's mine. I drove a black Corvette for a doctor one time because he wanted me to move his car from one spot to another, and it almost felt like I was driving the Batmobile. That sucker I didn't like it, but he'd go, here's the keys, Jane. Can you move the Batmobile? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I like the Nolan Batmobile for movies, but the TV Batmobile, I mean, that's just the one. That's what you grew up with the flames in the back, and those were old Lincolns. It's the same model car that JFK was riding in when he got killed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a prototype Lincoln Futura.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, Barris was the one who built. I think he built the original 3. And if you go back and look, you can see that. I mean, it was a space age era with cars, and it even had the bubble top and everything. I mean, it really, yeah. Look it up, Lincoln Futura prototype, and they bought 3 of them from Ford and cut them loose with Barris, who was a top car customizer at the time.
Also did the Monkey Mobile for the monkeys, yeah.
Hey, the monkeys.
I think he did it for the Monsters too. I think he did their vehicles too.
Oh, the Monsters Hot Rod, yeah.
Hot Rod, the Dragula, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got to say, Michael, what's going on over there? Michael Keaton's Batmobile I thought was pretty awesome, and I think holds up well today.
Yeah.
I really do. There's some famous actors out there that have versions of that.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sending you something, Nate.
All right. But yeah, Christopher Nolan's Tumblr was really cool.
Yes.
I didn't think I was going to like that at first, but you know what? It definitely fit the part, Very purposeful built. And even the newest one, I mean, when I see the newest one, I see a late 60s Chrysler done up there. But
the front end looks like Kit. Looks like Kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Is
does.
it that?
Yeah.
Or like an old Dodge, like an old Dodge Charger.
Charger.
Almost Dukes of Hazardous kind of body style. You know what I mean? Early
Yeah, well,
70s, late 60s.
I'm
Yeah.
not sliding into that sucker. Give me the 89 Mobile.
Oh my gosh, Dave. I just saw the
I
picture you
didn't
sent
do
me.
that is Kelly Devlin. So there you go.
Oh,
She sent that for
Prius,
you.
the Prius Batmobile. I'll have to post that on the site.
I'll
That's
send it
pretty
to
good.
Michael here in a minute.
The Batman Prius 1. Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you what. I've got 2 videos that I can put up and play, and then you guys can just kind of let yourself out, and I'll turn everything off when it's done. So I've got the video of the gentleman who built the Batmobile from Ohio. It's long. It's about a 9-minute video, but really good video. But if you've never seen it, this was done extremely well. It was a video professionally done, and it is Batman, and he's been against everyone over the years. Crossovers: Batman versus Darth Vader. Have you guys ever seen that?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll play that one, and I'll post the other one on the website later. How's that sound?
Okay.
Let me. I'll pull that up, and like I said, guys, hang around and watch that.
Before
And
you go.
well, we'll kind of call it a night now, and I'll let that film take us out for the evening. So you guys at home, chat and enjoy yourselves. I'm gonna bring us off the screen, and I'll bring this up full page.
Well,
So
before you go, let me show this real quick, okay?
Go right ahead.
Go. So we know that you weren't with us. We really missed you and all that, but I did bring you your towel. We have Chucky charms for you.
No,
I'm gonna send this to you, okay? So, good night, everybody.
See you next week.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.
I'm back. Sorry, I hit a button.
What are you doing? I will send it to you. I will send it to you. Okay. So we did not forget about you. This is yours.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
it says Chucky Charms on it, and it's got, of course, Chucky from Child's Play on it, and it says they're magically malicious.
That's awesome. Oh man, that's so cool. I really appreciate you guys thinking about
that's for
me.
you, honey. So I'll give it to you
That's
as soon
cool.
as I can.
Thank you guys. Whenever. Yeah, that's really cool. Nice. Love it. Yeah. That's why I like teaching 3rd grade. I could be 9 years old all day and I don't get it. That's the way it works.
And there was another little tidbit, but I guess it can wait for the next time. If there's ever a Star Wars night that we do, Mike and I found a really good tidbit, and I think I'm going to hold on to that one. I'm going to put that in.
Oh, okay. I'm game with that. All right.
Good trivia, or should I say, good trivia.
Ah!
Yep. It is.
This is going to be good. Okay, enjoy this.
Good. Yeah, it's going to be good.
All right. Sorry, I screwed myself up when I knocked myself off. I gotta let me hit my share screen again and bring up my video, and we'll say our goodbyes now, and I'll pull this up full screen and just kind of let this roll. So you guys at home, thank you for hanging out tonight. Hope you enjoyed yourselves. Hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Batman. And here we go. I'm going to pop it up here. As soon as I hit the right damn button this time. Here. All right.
Hey,
here we go.
Don't you talk about Mr. J like that.
All right. Finishing up. Batman versus Darth Vader.
All right. Good night, guys.
Good night. Have a good evening.
Darth Vader has captured one of the most powerful men alive, Superman, to force a power trade with Darkseid of Apokolips. After interrogating suspects in Mos Eisley, I discovered that the space mercenary, Boba Fett, used a kryptonite-powered lightsaber to aid Darth Vader in the capture of Superman. With the rest of the Justice League occupied, it is now up to me to save Superman and prevent the forging of an intergalactic alliance that could enslave the universe.
Superman's distress signal is coming from that small moon.
That's no moon. Initiate cloaking mode. Oracle, I've located Superman.
Excellent. Then it looks like you're good to go.
There's something else I need.
My lord, sensors indicate a breach of security in your armory.
He's here for the Kryptonian. Lock down cell blocks 3 and 4, and leave the rest to me.
Oracle, I'm approaching Superman's location.
You've made a mistake coming here.
Release Superman. Why you still can.
You do not know the power of the dark side.
I'll take my science over your magic any day. Let's see how well you breathe now.
The Force will sustain me long enough.
Exactly. Better focused on you than me.
You underestimated me.
I underestimate nothing.
You cannot win. You've wasted your opportunity to defeat me. Now, you will die. Your theatrics will not help you.
How's this for theatrics?
Your science did not defeat me.
It wasn't supposed to.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
That was pretty darn cool.